Welcome to day 3 of workout 6.1. We're still adding and subtracting fractions. And today we're going to look at 2 workouts. First workout is workout B here. So we've done workout A on day 1. So we're now looking at workout B, adding and subtracting mixed numbers. We may need to think about this, some visual support to this, depending how secure you are with it. All right, so if you're thinking about adding 2 mixed numbers, we might want to think about drawing. What does it look like? So if I had, let's say I had 2 1/4, add 1 5/8. So you're thinking, okay, so here's 2 1/4, 2 1/4. So if I'm thinking about just doing a jotting here. So this is my quarter. Okay, and I'm going to add 1 5/8. So I'm going to add 1. If I'm thinking of 5/8, if I could think of my whole here as eighths, I know that each of my quarters would be split into 2 equal parts. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5/8 maybe. Depends what you've done at school as to whether this model is helpful for you or not. But then I can see that I've added my 1 whole one and my 2 whole ones to give me 3 whole ones. There's my quarter and my 5/8. I can see that I've got 7/8. Now it might be that you'd rather convert this to an equivalent fraction. So I think of it as 2 2/8, add 1 5/8. Add my whole ones together, 3. Add my fractions together, 7/8. The challenge here is to solve all of these as quickly as you can. Be careful, there's some subtraction and some addition. So make sure you take note of the symbols so you do the correct thing. When you've finished them, come back, have a look at some answers, and then we'll look at another workout. Off you go. Okay, so here's the answers to workout B. Check yours against mine. Make sure you agree. If not, have a little look, see what went wrong, and then we'll have a look at a challenge together. So, bookshelf challenge. So you've got a context problem here that we're thinking about fractions, and it's done in the context of a bookcase. So we've got bookshelves, and we're thinking about filling the shelves with different books. So a jotting might help. You might think about if we've got 1 2/3 of a shelf filled, what does that look like? And we want to know the difference between fractions of shelves. So if I want to know the difference between the fractions of shelves that are filled by astronomy books compared to the fractions of shelves filled by stories about explorers, I'm looking for the difference between 1 3/4 and 1 2/3. So we might need to think about what does that look like. We're going to need to think about some equivalent fractions. And if we're finding the difference between, then we're subtracting. Okay? So you've got to look at all the possible combinations here. So you need to be maybe a bit organised as well to think about which ones have I found the difference between. So am I going to difference between this, keep the top one the same and do the difference between explorers and astronomy, explorers and recipes, explorers and keep fit. Yeah, so then I know I've done explorers with all of them. You might, when you've done them all, you might notice some stuff about some of them. There's some quite interesting things about the denominators that go on here. So have a little look, see what you can spot. And then the next challenge then is investigate further. Your challenge is to find 2 mixed numbers with different denominators that have a difference of 1/10. In other words, a mixed number, subtract a mixed number equals 1/10. Okay, you may think about other ways that you could do that. What do you know about inverse? How would that help? Find a few possibilities if you can. Off you go.